The most valuable thing that you can ever carry is not something that you can carry in your arms. It's not something you can buy with money, and it's definitely not something other people can give you. I'm talking about something that really makes an impact in this world. When you walk in a room or you meet a person for the first time, I'm talking about your energy, and this is so important. And then you might be thinking like, okay, what is this woo-woo lady talking about? Like energy? Do I have an energy? Do people have an energy? Yes, we all have our own energy. And the energy has all to do with like how we ourselves are feeling on the inside. What are we thinking? What are we signalizing to the other person? Like that has all to say with the energy the person is going to pick up on. Just imagine this, you're meeting two different types of people. One person is a little bit, nonchalant, a little bit like cool girl, mysterious, don't say that much. Maybe you feel a little bit stiff and not that comfortable being around that person. Well, I think that maybe can be a thing a lot of people like try to play around to have this all image of being a cool and mysterious person. And you know what? I support you. I support you in everything you do, but I will forever stand by that that is not gonna be beneficial in the long run. Okay? And that's because when you have this nonchalant, like cool girl image, people might like the thought of you, like the concept of you being a cool girl, but they don't really want to open up to you because you are not making it a safe space for people to do so. And that is not either gonna make people want to trust you or give you opportunities because they don't really know who you are, because you have this nonchalant, I don't really know kind of image, and they don't really know where they got you in a lot of ways. So that is person number one, okay? And we can get a little bit back to this after a while, but I just want you to see like clearly the contrast between person number one and person number two. So person number two over here just feels like sunshine in a person's body. Okay? You just want to give the person a hug. You want to tell your whole life story to this person. It just feels like a safe space. Okay? And that has all to do with the energy. Maybe the person isn't afraid to say something wrong or maybe look a little bit stupid because they're just like, oh, well, it's all right. Because that's gonna create that safety too, that it's okay that the other person, you, can do that too, can relax, can put the guards down, and you see the person for who they are and not this concept of a person over here in person one. Okay? And that, my friend, signalizes confidence because you don't have to be this character to like seem cool because you are already cool being yourself, daring to just be you and just be loud and be interested in that person. That is what's gonna create the whole difference. And while some people might argue that some people are maybe more quiet or they just are born like this, personally, I think most of the time people are just a little bit, maybe for some reason, maybe something has happened before, maybe it's the group they are surrounded with, I don't know, but I feel like that kind of person is a little bit more insecure or do want to keep people on an arm length like distance because they're afraid what's gonna happen if they really show that person their true colors. That's why they're showing this image of a cool girl who doesn't really care about anything, but they do really care a lot, but they just don't want to show it. In the long run, for your happiness, for your relationship, for the opportunities that's gonna come your way, that is not the way to go, honey. It's not the way to go. And I'm not saying that everyone is supposed to be like golden retrievers over here and just be like, all the time. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's all about the authenticity and daring to just like do things and not always be cool and mysterious. I mean, just to have like a heart-to-heart conversation, just like how beautiful that can be. Just think about it. Like if you had more meaningful heart-to-heart conversation with people, wouldn't that just create a better world? Like in my opinion, it definitely would, and I try to do that everywhere I go because I love to have those conversations, and I really strive to be the sunshine in the person. I think that's just gonna make room for more warm heart-to-heart conversations. But either way, this person too, the person who is the sunshine, that kind of person is the person people want to be around. It's the person they want to give opportunities to. It's the person that you want to have as a friend because you know where you got them, because they're being real. They are showing you their true colors. They don't hide their cards. It's right there in the open, or so it seems like with this energy, right? Because a really, really important thing to remember when it comes to like human interactions, you can talk and talk and talk and say whatever you will in the conversation, but most of the times people won't remember you for what you're saying. They will remember how you made them feel. And I can just like take a little bit of an example to make this really clear, because I think we all just have had the experience of someone maybe like making a joke on your behalf once and it just made you feel bad. And because of that, that kind of taints the whole picture you have of this person and the relation. You just like know that that person made you feel a little bit bad or embarrassed once, and you don't really like that person that much. You don't really want to be around that person that much, right? Whereas if you just meet a person and it just feels so right, it just feels so safe, and you laugh, you have fun, you just feel like it's heaven on earth. Let's be honest, some people are like that. It's just feels so real and good, and maybe they give you some compliments even, and it's not like those fake ones, it just feels real, and you just go from that conversation feeling like a better person, that you are a better version of yourself. Like some people can do that to you, and that's all about their energy and what they are giving you. And you will remember that. Even though this might just have been like a 5-minute conversation, you will remember the feeling the person gave you and forever take it with you, okay? So just like imagine if you one day then were in a higher position, or somebody asked you, okay, we have like this job or this like opportunity, do you know a person which would be a good fit? And then you remember this girl who just had the most amazing vibe ever, and you're just like, yes, I know a person. It's that person that I met over here. It has the best energy. The thing is also like our imagination, it's really creative, okay? So when that person made you feel really good once, you're just gonna like add on a lot of positive attributes towards this person. Maybe it's not even a job that that person have like any experience with or any competence with, but you're just gonna like assume like, no, that person has great vibes and makes me feel good. Of course that person also are able to do these things. Now I just took it really out there with the example, but that is really how the world works with networks, with everything. Like your vibe, your energy has everything to say towards like the opportunities that you will get in your network from other people, because people want to give back to people that made them feel good. It makes so much more sense, right? This is all one thing, like the impact you can have on another person just by your vibe, just by embracing yourself and like finding security in yourself and all of that. Like we work a lot on that on this channel about how we can find our safety and develop ourselves into the best version of yourself. Like that has all to do with this. It's a lot of work. I'm not gonna sit here and lie about that. You do need to do some inner work to be able to have this ability to go out there and feel confidence and not really overthink when you meet another person. Because people know when you're overthinking and it's interfering with your vibe. So this is all something that you can work on, absolutely. I wouldn't sit here and say that if it was just like you're born with this or this. No, this is something that you can work on, definitely. And if this isn't like reason enough to work on your inner safety and self-love and all of that, I can also tell you that you're not just gonna get better relationship, you're not just gonna get more opportunities, but you are also gonna attract things to yourself with the same vibe, with the same energy, okay? Because people with good vibes want to be around other people with good vibes. And suddenly you're gonna have like a whole friend group with people with good vibes. And then you might be like, you know what? I am a person with good vibes. I am a person who does this and that. But my friends makes comment that like I'm a little bit awkward or that I'm a little bit cringe or whatever. Well, that's not the energy that we want in our life, okay? So it's also okay to say bye-bye to those kind of people who are not matching your vibe, to open up and make room for people who has that good vibes. That's also a job that you need to do. You don't need to like keep holding on to this kind of friend group just because you have known each other since you were 3 years old. If the vibe ain't matching, you don't have to like keep this whole friendship thing going. You need to then just make room for new things to blossom and for the positivity and growth to shine through and really just flourish. So now I hopefully has convinced you that your energy and your vibe is something really important that is going to interfere with everything in your life. So then you might be, okay, I hear you say all of this. I hear you say that I need to work on myself, but what can I do today to change this? Because my vibe ain't what you're describing. I'm more of this type of person, but I want to be this type of person. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Well, I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna do right now. The first thing that you need to do is really to take like the charge of what you're thinking, what you're saying to yourself, okay? Because what you're thinking inside of your mind and head is what's gonna create your feelings. So if you constantly say all of this like negative things towards yourself, you are also gonna feel like shit, and then your vibe is going to be shit. And then people are gonna sense it, and that's just gonna attract shit people, or that people are just gonna, no, this is not for me, okay? So you need to just be in charge of what you're saying here. And that might seem a little bit simple, but kind of hard. Like, how am I gonna do that? Like, the voice is just like constantly going like this. Well, what I would start doing is actually writing things down, because when you can write just your thoughts down on paper and you see it with the ink, it's going to be so much easier to just call out the bullshit, okay? Because then when you see all of that negativity, when you see all of the shit that you say towards yourself, you're gonna be like, okay, I am actually being really harsh towards myself. And then you can just like say, okay, what do I really mean about this? If I'm saying that I'm ugly, if I'm saying that I can never be this thing, or that I'm not good enough, or that nobody likes me, what is the underlying issue here? What is causing this? And that can be many things, like something that you maybe experienced when you were smaller that's just sticking with you, or maybe it's just a habit, like you are just used to think of yourself in this way, and therefore you just like go around with that mindset that's just causing all of this other negative things in your life. Call yourself out on your bullshit, and then you can go into a conversation with yourself and be like, am I really ugly? And that might seem a little bit like weird or intimidating, but just like talk to yourself like, am I really ugly? What exactly does that mean? What about myself don't I like? Okay? And then you can go deeper down, like, why don't I like these things about myself? Was this from a comment? Was it because I consume so much social media and see all of these people having the perfect look with filters, with plastic surgery? Like, have I consumed so much of that is the beauty standard that I'm holding myself accountable to? Is that the reason? Is any comments the reason? And if that's the case, if this is this thing that makes me like think I'm ugly and all of that, is that completely true? Is there something about me that I like? Do I like my eyes? Do I like my lips? Do I maybe like the way I smile? Do I like the way I treat others? Do I like this? Do I like that? You know, just like to go through what about myself do I actually like? And then you try to fill your thoughts and focus on those things. In the beginning, it can be pretty hard if you're really used to just being in this negative mindset of finding things that is wrong. But if you can just find one thing that you like about yourself and just start to think about that, okay? When you feel like the negative things is coming, just think about that thing and just like see if you can just feel a little bit different. And maybe with time you can find 2 things that you like about yourself, and then maybe 3 things that you like about yourself, and suddenly you are changing your mindset to think about more and more and more positive things about yourself that you like, and you're going to feel better, and that's also going to impact other things in your life. So after you have done the step, I want you to also take a step back and like just see yourself in just the conversational situation. Like, what usually do you think about? Like, maybe you're stuck in the negativity thing about thinking negatively about yourself, but do you also think and worry about what the other person is thinking about you? Are you being scared that they're not gonna like you or that they're gonna think you're weird? Do you go around with these thoughts too? And do you like put words in their mouth that they have never ever said or even thought, because you just think that that's what they think, but really it's just like something that you have made up because you have these other negative thoughts, you know? It's so easy to just like put words in others' mouth that they might have all these negative thoughts about themselves, and that makes us insecure. But most of the times that is just in our own head. And if it's not in our own head, it's not a person that we want to be around, okay? So then it's just like the weed is just taking out itself, okay? We don't want that. We don't want that in our life. If people are going around like saying or thinking those things about you, like that's not the kind of people that we want in our life either way. So if you just start thinking like that everyone doesn't really need to like me, people can think all these negative things about me, but that's not really a me thing though. That's like with their own inner demons, like their negative thoughts. I feel like so often people just have negative thoughts about other people because maybe they see something in them that they feel about themselves too, right? Have you heard about that concept too? Like the concept that the thing you don't like in another person is something that you really don't like about yourself either. So you see that thing in the other person. Like I think about it all the time if I get a negative thought of another person, because it happens all the time. And then I'm like, why did this show up in my mind? It doesn't as often anymore, but every now and then, like it's human. And that's something that's really, really important to me to really get out there too. It's not that we're ever gonna have this perfect mindset, and it's never gonna help for you to like blame or put shame on yourself for having negative thoughts or thinking negatively of others. Thoughts will appear, but it doesn't really need to define who you are. You decide which kind of thoughts that you want to believe. And those thoughts that you believe then turns into a part of who you are. You become those, because that's your beliefs. That's also the same if some people say something negatively or nasty towards you. It's only gonna hit you. It's only gonna have an impact if you start to believe what they're saying. If you just know that, you know what? I see that they spoke. I could hear words, but I don't see myself in those words. It's not going to have an impact in you because it's not personal. So that's all the things that really matters. Like to not take those things personally. That's just a them thing. That's just like negatively impacting their own vibe. But we are not worrying about their vibe. We are worrying about our own energy, our own vibe. We're working on that. And if people with negative vibes or people who say messy things, if they are like surrounded and try to like get to you, like you can just like away, because we don't want that. We don't want negative and people like that in our life. Away. Thank you. So that was like a long little monologue about just that you need to really get into the deep with your negative thoughts. You need to get rid of this whole mindset that people might be thinking this about you, and you need to also stop taking things personal, because it's never personal. People are just on their own journey trying to figure it out. People have been through things that has made them into the person that they are. It's never an excuse for how they are behaving, but you can just take that into consideration and then decide if that is a person that you want to listen to, if that is a person that you want to have in your life. And since we're working on our good vibes and we want to attract good people, we don't have room for the negative energy people. So when you are in the state of mind when you think more positively, you don't think about what other people think about you, because you have the safety on the inside and you don't take it personally if people try to offend you, then you have a much more zen inner self. You have a much more calmer energy. It's a much more lighter energy. So you can joke around, you can make people laugh. You just are more and more like sunshine in a person's body, because you have this on the inside. And when you really put in the work, again, it's not easy, but it's gonna make life easier for you in the long run when you do the work, okay? And things will start to attract to you when you start to do this process. Trust me, it's going to happen sooner or later. And you will be surprised, and you will come back to this video and you will comment, Solje, you were so right. I didn't really believe it, but you were so right. So much good stuff is happening in my life right now because I listened to you and started to do the different steps to like better my energy and how I approach others, and really took the time and energy to work on my good energy. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. That is how other people is going to find this video as well. And if you like this video and like me, like the content, the way to express it, like, hello, I post videos weekly, so if you want to see more of me, then you can subscribe. And if you really like this video, I know you are going to like this video here as well. So I'll see you there.